Sports Marketing Now.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Marketing Now, a branch of Sports Business Now where we are talking everything sports marketing. And today we have two great guests joining us via Skype, Russell Scabetti of thebusinessofsports.com and Craig Pittens of the University of Oregon. Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Good. Happy to be here.
Great. Thanks for joining us today. Russell, introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Russell Scabetti. I'm the founding editor of a sports business industry blog called thebusinessofsports.com. It's been running for almost 5 years now. And along with that, I have experience with colleges and professional teams, mostly in the CRM, database, and social marketing spaces.
Great. Thanks, Russell. And then, Craig, how about yourself? What are you doing at Oregon?
Well, I have a wide range of responsibilities. It seems like every day it is something a little bit different, but marketing, communications, serve as our department spokesperson, and also am the liaison of the Pac-12 network.
And I see that you're reporting live from the Quack Cave, which is your social media hub, so that's pretty cool.
I am in the Quack Cave. It is dark and scary in here. We had to turn on the light.
Well, I'm glad you could join us from there. That's kind of a cool spot. Very innovative. So basically this show is we're just talking everything in the sports marketing world from the week. And actually there was the OfficeMax Hockey City Classic this past weekend, which was at Soldier Field. And outdoor hockey at its finest. Think Carrier Classic, but this time on the field of Soldier Field. They created an ice rink and had University of Minnesota versus University of Wisconsin and Miami of Ohio versus Notre Dame. So kind of a cool aspect for college hockey. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Russell, I'll start with you.
Sure. I think it's great. I think, if anything, the Winter Classic has taught us over the years outdoor experiential events is a phenomenal way to grow the popularity of the sport. The ratings for that have gone up every year. The attendance is always through the roof. So it's only natural to me for the big-time college hockey programs to explore that avenue as well. The location choice of Soldier Field is perfect because it's actually a smaller football stadium. So whereas you go to a big 80 or 90,000 person stadium, the experience might not be as great. But I think it's a great choice of venue, and the choice of schools is also solid. So for a premier event, I think it was very successful.
I would echo what Russell said. I mean, anytime you get Minnesota and Wisconsin playing together in hockey, you're going to get a good crowd regardless. In fact, the only actual college hockey game that I've ever been to was Minnesota and Wisconsin, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. Take that and put it outside, and it would be unreal. Obviously, with Notre Dame, they have the right mix of teams because you've got Minnesota, Wisconsin, which have passionate fan bases, and then you've got Notre Dame, who their home arena isn't very big, so they're not going to draw very well at home. But Notre Dame is so big in the Chicago area that it was a perfect selection of teams, perfect venue and location for it, and probably by all accounts sounds like it was a success based on attendance and everything they had leading up to the event.
Yeah, over 50,000 people attended both games, so definitely not filled, but very, very good feat for college hockey. I know you kind of touched on it as well. How can they really increase the visibility of this program going forth with non-hockey fans or even these schools' alumni bases, like that you said, were very prominent in the Chicagoland area?
Well, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge if you continue the same program and you do it year after year. You have to tap into the non-hockey fan and get them out there and hopefully get them interested in the sport, because as those teams advance and play in the NCAA tournament, hopefully anybody who's never been to a college hockey game before and that was their first time, they're going to follow the team a little bit closer, and then from there hopefully become a fan, because that's what it's going to take in a sport like hockey, in a sport, any other sport, take your pick, to try to get people to be long-term fans of that particular sport.
And in addition to that, I think one of the key components that they did well and that they should repeat is making it more than just about the hockey games. How they had 2 weeks worth of skating and hockey related events, things that will resonate with a larger percentage of the community that will still also drive interest in the game. So that's going to that's going to help build hockey fans, future ticket buyers, future attendees for both the universities and hockey in general. So the more they can layer in those additional grassroots events into the bigger event will really help that.
No, absolutely. And, you know, you have the Carrier Classic, which is two basketball teams playing on an aircraft carrier, and now college hockey in a football venue. Do you think this is just a one-year-off event, or could kind of have the staying power of another niche event like the Carrier Classic?
Well, the Carrier Classic might be a little bit doomed based on what happened this year when they had to, delay the game and actually cancel the Marquette game. They didn't even end up playing that one. Marquette, I forget who Marquette was playing, but I remember watching it, and they were not able to get going on the floor, and that makes it a little bit tough. In fact, they probably could have played hockey based on the condensation that they had on the court that day. But I think these type of events are going to continue to be successful because they're market dictated. If the market is there, promoters are going to continue to have these type of events and find a way to hold them because people will show up.
I think each sport, looking at the college space, can kind of have one or two of those tentpole experience events that will be successful year over year. I think the thing that would diminish it is kind of the thing that diminishes a lot of bowl games, in that there are now so many of them that the perceived value and the uniqueness of them gets diminished. So as long as it stays as just a single large event, or maybe has one or two of those per year, I think the staying power is there.
Yeah, right. As you mentioned, Craig, with the whole weather issue, I know Chicago did have a little bit of issues with the ice as far as the quality of ice in, the third period of the night game, the Minnesota-Wisconsin game. So definitely something to keep in mind, as outdoor events go on in the future. And moving on now to Under Armour. Under Armour has a new marketing campaign out called I Will, all surrounded around the I Will platform. And Russell, what are your thoughts on kind of their new strategy here?
I think a couple of things. One, I think the slogan, the I Will, is a really good combination. It really grasps you. It really fits into the whole fitness lifestyle element of I will take care of myself, I will achieve, I will succeed. I think it's a nice slogan to build around as a key part of the campaign. I think their choice of athletes is pretty bold, because they're going very young with the 3 or 4 anchor athletes that are part of this initial campaign. And when you go that young, there's a risk that the athlete doesn't pan out the way that you expect them to. And they have a boxer and a tennis player as well, and their careers are very hard to project sometimes. So I give them a lot of credit for going that route, because it does fit with the technology focus and the way they're trying to drive new emerging athletic apparel. So I'm pretty impressed by it. I think that the young athlete presents a little bit of risk compared to We Will Protect This House, which was such an anchor for them and so established and resonated. So it's good to see them go in a new direction.
Yeah, definitely moving away from, the Ray Lewis's, the Tom Brady, into more of a Sloane Stephens, who was, just recently popular with her win over Serena Williams, Bryce Harper, and a couple of no-namers as well. So that's kind of interesting that they chose to go that route. So do you see this as a real change in strategy, or just a new motto for them going forth?
I think it's just a new campaign. It's after a while. I mean, even you've seen all different merchandise brands. They launch. They have a brand. Particularly We Will Protect This House was almost like an anchoring of their brand from launch. So every brand's got to evolve, and eventually that slogan and that feel kind of runs its course. And you mentioned the timing with Ray Lewis retiring. It just fits the natural progression of needing to evolve their brand, and I think it's the right way to evolve it. So I think it should work.
And then now moving on to more of the team branding aspect, with changing of logos. All of a sudden, it seems like a ton of teams are kind of tweaking their logos or completely changing their name altogether. Enter the New Orleans Pelicans now, changing their name from the Hornets, which were originally housed in Charlotte, to more of a New Orleans, centric team name. What do you think their rationale is behind the completely rebrand of that franchise? I'll throw it to you, Craig.
Well, I mean, anytime that you need to sell tickets and you need to get excitement going about your team, this is obviously a strategy that has worked very successfully for people. And let's face it, Hornets is not native to the area. Pelicans, it's the state bird of Louisiana, and it is a majestic bird if you've ever seen a pelican in action. In fact, if you just YouTube pelicans, the pelicans are very vicious. There's a couple of crazy videos out there of pelicans attacking dogs and doing other things. So pelicans, by their nature, are nasty animals. You might think they're just real fuzzy and a cartoon character, but they're not. And it fits well with Louisiana. The one thing I didn't understand, and I guess I would have gone a little different direction, is maybe gone with a more of a purple, green, and yellow motif, very similar to Mardi Gras, the Mardi Gras colors.
Right.
I think that would have been a good fit. Going red, white, or red, gold, I guess, and blue is not really unique. But the logo, I love the nickname. I like some of the secondary marks. I think the main mark is a little bit too busy for me, but the secondary marks capture New Orleans and capture Louisiana very well.
Yeah, I think the NOLA mark might be my favorite of the three. I think that's really nice. I was kind of agree with you on the colors, but I was thinking about it a little bit more. And you also, now that the Hornets are also owned by the same ownership as the Saints, having that gold connection to the two the two professional teams in the market, I think that's a nice connection for the two color schemes.
Well, it also makes it a little bit easier to when you're painting things, because the color is pretty similar. But to me, I also think using purple and gold along with green makes it a little bit easier too, because you've got LSU there, which is purple and gold.
No, great points. I know the city itself really utilized, the purple, the green, the yellow, really well in terms of, when the Final Four was there last year and just now the Super Bowl. So I definitely agree with you, Craig, about kind of utilizing those colors more. So what do you think this will have an impact on, say, ticket sales, merchandise, just with the whole rebrand of the team? Obviously, it did really well for the Brooklyn Nets. What are your thoughts on the impact that it will have?
It'll have a great impact on merchandise sales, but ticket sales, it really isn't. I don't see the connection there immediately. If you can get people excited about the team, and this is a way to do it, you're going to move a few tickets, but ultimately you need to have great entertainment at the games and a great product on the floor, and definitely I've actually been to a Hornets game before. They do a great job from an atmosphere standpoint. The product on the floor right now isn't as competitive as it probably could be, and ultimately, let's face it, that's probably going to be a determining factor in success there.
Yeah, I agree completely on the merch side. The one, I guess, there is a potential for long-term ticket revenue in terms of how this choice impacts the brand overall. The ability to rebrand, to build something new. I mean, the Hornets, you had the Charlotte connection, you even had them in San Antonio for a year. There might not be a real strong connection to the brand overall locally. And if this helps improve that path to building a deeper tie to the community and to people just having it top of mind, I think there could be a long-term incremental effect on tickets, but it's not going to sell tickets in and of itself.
As a side point, we here in Eugene, Oregon, my son's first grade basketball team, which I'm the coach of, our team name is the Pelicans, and we did do that in honor of the New Orleans Pelicans. We're trying to be ahead of the curve.
Nice.
So, we are the Pelicans. So we're trying to spread the brand here in Oregon.
I like it.
I think I said San Antonio by mistake. I meant Oklahoma City.
Grassroots marketing, for sure. I love it.
We're trying. Now, if anybody from the New Orleans Pelicans is listening, if you want to send us some free gear for our team, we have 9 players and a coach.
Probably sizes small, right?
Yeah, they would be pretty small. But hey, you got to start them young. They'll all be Pelican fans.
For sure. And then, Craig, Oregon has gone through a little bit of rebranding yourselves. What has the reaction been with your fan base, whether that be alumni, students, definitely going for that modern, sleek look in comparison to, some other teams out there?
Well, definitely with our uniforms get a ton of attention every week, and it is a tremendous part of our brand. It's who we are, and we owe a debt of gratitude to Nike, who has done a tremendous amount for us in terms of just getting that out there and creating a brand that is fun and innovative. And it makes it a lot of fun to see the people around the country that are interested in Oregon, mainly because the first time they see us, we're wearing great uniforms on TV and we look good, and the results on the field have been pretty spectacular over the course of the last 4 years.
Yeah, I would say you've had a little bit of success, especially in football. Now in basketball, beating Arizona earlier this year, but a couple other teams have gone through some minor logo tweaks or enhancements. Most notably, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Minnesota Vikings. What are your thoughts on an established team tweaking their logo just ever so slightly? In hopes of, creating a revitalized product? Russell?
I think it's delicate. It can be done right and it can be done wrong. I happen to like these two cases. The Vikings one is very subtle. It's really just some minor graphical adjustments to try to make the logo stand out more. I think it's going to fit into some of their efforts with the new stadium. So really, it's just it's a very mild adjustment. The Jaguars, where they are in terms of still being a fairly young franchise, I think it fits into the evolution of their brand. Not that there was anything wrong with the old logo, but even something as simple as the focus on the eyes that the new logo has, and the way they can use that to try to help reinvigorate things or reinvigorate the view of the franchise or feed into a new marketing campaign, which I believe is the owner's goal with doing this. I think a refinement in this case can be very effective.
One other thing that probably doesn't get told, and it certainly isn't contained in a press release, but a lot of times people will rework their logo because it becomes easier to print and it actually becomes easier to stitch. And that's something that isn't really talked about, but a lot of times those little subtle changes are for a specific reason, and that reason usually has to do with stitching of materials, because it becomes a little bit easier to produce the logo on different apparel items.
No, that's a great point, Craig. Very, not a thing that people think about, but definitely has merit. And then, obviously Shad Khan was saying that, we need a new product, especially with the dwindling sales in Jacksonville. So do you think this even just the minorest of improvements to the logo can really push the needle in terms of merchandise sales?
No, because unless you're completely changing your color or your logo, most fans, to the naked eye, they're not gonna notice a difference. You have to go full bore. If you're going to go in, again, my opinion, if you're going to go in, go all in. And if you're looking to actually make an impact on merchandise sales, then you need to change something or come up with an alternate jersey. We have quite a few jerseys here at the University of Oregon, and as a result, we sell quite a few jerseys because we have a lot of different options.
Yeah, I agree. I think in and of itself, it's not going to. I mean, there'll probably be a small incremental. I mean, your diehards are your diehards, and if you present something new to them, they're going to consume it. And so that in of itself will probably present a small spike in the beginning, but not nearly the level that you would see from the example we mentioned earlier with the Pelicans, where it's a full rebrand and everyone's going to go out to get that new identity for the team.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Some great insight on branding and marketing, and we hope you guys can join us as we continue on this show here.
Yeah, thanks for having. When is the speed round? Is this it right now, or are we done? We're done?
We're done now.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Holly. This was a lot of fun.
Great. Glad you guys could join us, and thank you for joining us as well. And we will see you on next week's edition of Sports Marketing Now on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Time. We'll see you next week.
Sports Marketing Now.